Yeah, I'm a maker. So I maker trader. So you may know me as KeepTrooping. This is the wave. People would, friends and families would go and say, right, well, that's your passion. It's what you do on your free time. That's good. It's that's how I started, and I used to say, well, Dad, you love to go fly fishing. That's your passion, right? Or hey, you like motorbike. That's your passion, right? So you invest time and effort, and you work through that. So for me, it was costuming Star Wars. But when it became more than that, that became difficult for some people to really put their head around that. How do you explain to people, this is not just what I do in my spare time? This is me. This is what I do all the time. I wake up Star Wars, I go to bed Star Wars, I spend my entire day within the Star Wars universe. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But with time now, yeah, everybody's like, oh, this is great. Wow, you actually do something that you're passionate about. This is so good. I needed to go to too many prop makers to get a costume finished. It would take so long to get the parts, sometimes up to a year. Sometimes I got fleeced of my money because, you go, right, you try to communicate and get some feedback, and then all of a sudden the person disappears. And yeah, it was a very frustrating experience sometimes. You could finish everything and be 90% ready, and all you're waiting is for that last prop to come. A pair of gloves, a belt, a hat, and then it's not coming. And then you're stuck. That really frustrated me. There was a notion there that I wanted to circumvent all of that. I wanted to offer something that allowed people to not have to go through that madness. I had my TK and I was looking for shoes. Couldn't find the Chelsea boots locally, so I started to source elsewhere, and I received the first pair and it was too small, although I had bought my size. Then I bought a second pair and it came and it was too big, although it was just one size up. Then I got the third pair from another vendor, which was kind of okay. It really was not comfortable to troop in. A typical Chelsea boots is a little shorter, maybe this or that. And that means when you've got the shin guard here and you've got the typical, or at least at the time, the boots that were made, you would often walk and then the shin guard would pop out and then come back in, and then you could not walk anymore. That was over. I mean, it was very uncomfortable. I mean, you could maybe walk, but then you would have bruises and cuts and everything in between. Could we find a place to make a Chelsea boot that is reasonably higher, so that when the shin guard comes in, it won't pop out? And also I needed something where that particular curve was not straight cut, that we actually had a proper curve. KeepTrooping was never planned. It was never something where I woke up one morning and said, well, that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to spend all my time doing this, and I'm going to... It never was that way. It was always, I'm frustrated about something. What am I going to do to fix that? And can I put that somehow to share with the community? It's in 2015 that I officially launched the e-commerce website. And then we had a few shoes and a few gloves in there. And then people, obviously thought it was nice. Then I started thinking about clothing and accessories. And so that's how it grew, very organically. It was never planned. It's still not planned. Most of what I offer is something that I did because originally I wanted to have it. So I did the work for me, and then put it out there. People then say, yes, I want to buy it, then we keep on making it, and others people don't react to it, so we just retire it, right? But I mean, you know, the Senate Guard, Vader, Boba Fett, I've got the patterns for all of that and so much more. There is so much more that I have done that is not on KeepTrooping. I always want to offer real garments, real shoes, real gloves, not something that you could mistake for a fancy dress or a lower quality cosplay type of apparel. That someone sees their costume finished and say, whoa, this is really how I envision this costume to be on set. But it's also so much more higher in terms of quality and comfort than what I originally felt I was going to have. It needs to have that gravitas, that thing that says I am in that universe, right? So when people receive their gear, they open the box and then they see a pair of shoes and they say, wow, these are shoes. I can wear these every day, and they have the quality to withstand that. I am going to be able to wear these for a long time because of how well they're being made or the material that they are that Vincent is using. My main concern were the fabric that is being used and the construction, because I could see that the fabric was a bit different. I could see that the orange patches were printed, but I could also see that the reflective white squares on the side, they were ironed on. They were not, it didn't look like they were printed. Everything was confirmed. I had to go through 23 different kind of fabric. It could not be made just as a one-off. It had to be made in large production. So we made the sample without the printing to make sure that everything was okay. Then I put out that, you know, are you interested? And then people were really, really interested. So that gave me the fuel that I needed to say, okay, well, let's go through this and let's do this. In London, there was a massive gathering of prisoners, and probably around 200 of them. Crazy run in the convention, and everybody was looking, everybody was taking pictures, everybody was laughing, everybody thought it was amazing. You could feel that the convention center had completely shifted in its energy. Over time, I've had so many interaction with incredible people that were very helpful in understanding how things are being made, and I'm talking about not only troopers in the garrison, but I'm talking about, you know, fashion designer, costume designers, people that are, you know, visual designers or graphic designers, people that work on productions, some of them in Star Wars productions, that have been able to open my eyes to how things works and how things are being thought about. And so when I do something, I always think that way, and it starts with that thought. How would have they thought about this? And then, you know, we slowly pull that thread, and then we add until we've got something that is actually you know, what I offer on KeepTrooping. And for me, the work with KeepTrooping is fun in that it's, again, creative problem solving. How do I do this particular piece to be screen accurate, but at the same time it's comfortable, it lasts, it's good quality, right?